Hey there. So I just wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about the idea of tracking our workouts, what tracking is, how it works, how you might use it or not want to use it, and a little bit about the difference between tracking and planning as I see it, as a way to sort of differentiate what we're doing when it comes to writing down or using, electronic tools or whatever you're using for keeping track of workouts. So first and foremost, the sort of first principle that we're working on with having this approach to sustainable energy giving relationship with exercise is getting rid of the diet mentality, getting rid of the trying to manipulate our body, and letting go of sort of the shame around the should part of exercise so that we can have a more peaceful relationship with exercise. So I invite you to consider that that's going to be primary to how you relate to tracking workouts. So some things to consider are, what are you actually tracking? So are we tracking that, like checking off the list that you've done the workout? And that can be something that is, in line with that very black and white thinking, that if you didn't do the X, Y, and Z workout as planned, then that's not good enough. So if we're tracking showing up and being a little bit more generous with that definition. So if we're tracking our movement, if we're allowing that 5 minutes of walking or stretching or 10 minutes of, going around the block counts as exercise, we should track that as well. And not only the harder, more intense parts of exercise. Also, a really interesting idea when I was following some of the programs from GMB Fitness is they invited in the tracking portion not just to track like, have you done it, how many sets and reps, stuff like that, about what weight you used for your weighted exercises, but to also track the quality and ease with which you moved through the movements. And to me, that seemed like such a great shift in perspective, because there's that old adage of what gets measured gets managed. So if instead of just measuring how many reps did I do, how many sets did I do, how strong am I getting better and better every single time, what if we instead tracked, am I showing up? How do I feel when I do it? What's the quality of the movement? How easily can I get through a workout without feeling like it has to be super hard and intense? The next question is, why are you tracking? Are you tracking your workouts because you want to live up to some external pressure, or is this something that's coming from inside of you? Is it that you want to have a little bit more intention behind what you're doing, or is it because it's this prescription that's come from somewhere else? So sort of connecting to the why of why you want to exercise in the first place and why you want to engage in some sort of tracking. And I think that this really ties into the idea of tracking versus planning. I think it's great to have a plan. I think that that can really help. I know for me personally, sometimes it feels good to just decide what I want to do on any given day, and sometimes it helps to have a plan. And so when I think of writing workouts for myself or creating a plan for a week, I'm not thinking of it as being, okay, I have to do these things. It's that I'm doing some of the thought process of like, well, what do I want to do? And so one of the ways that planning versus tracking can be helpful, instead of thinking, okay, Monday I'm going to do this, Wednesday I'm going to do that, Friday I have to do this at such and such a weight. I can think of planning as, well, I'm going to plan 2 workouts or 3 workouts or whatever, and I'm just going to cycle through them. So instead of it being my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday workouts, they're my A, B, and C. And if on a certain week I only do A and B, next time I come back, it's C. And it just allows to build in a little bit more flexibility while still having the benefit of having things planned out ahead of time. So it's more organizational rather than, trying to whip myself into gear, whatever. And then the last question is, will planning cause you stress, pressure, and anxiety? Or is it going to be neutral information and a source of feedback for you? So I think that this is a very important distinction. So this comes back to that very beginning thought that the most primary thing here is that we're rejecting the diet mentality. We're rejecting the should. We're rejecting that pressure to do things, and we're trying to tune into it being something that comes from within, that's related to who we are, what we value, and how we want to show up in the world and in our bodies for ourselves. So if you're not yet in a place where tracking your workouts can be something that's neutral, that's a source of just information and feedback and a way to kind of organize yourself, have some reflection, then tracking might not be the thing for you right now. And sort of shifting from that tracking perspective to more of a planning perspective, and just trying to cultivate that sense of being a little more easygoing with our relationship with fitness. So I hope you found that helpful, some reflections on tracking and tracking versus planning, and connecting to the what, the why, and the will it cause me stress